going on, everybody? Um, Today I'm going to take you guys on probably the last trail camera check before season starts here in like 2.5 weeks. Is our bow opener. So I'm out here. I'm late on doing all this. I've been working like crazy on my house. I kind of got ahead of the game a little bit, and I already checked this camera, and there's a couple of real nice bucks on there. One really nice one. Well, two. They're both really nice deer, over 130 inches, which is a really good deer for around here. I'm gonna make a mock scrape right here. You guys will be able to tell. In the one of the pictures I'm gonna show you, one of the bigger bucks, he's actually working the licking branch. So I'm gonna create a mock scrape right there. I got a little bit of Wyoming County whitetails doe urine, and I got a little bit of Wyoming County whitetails buck urine. I'm not going to get real aggressive with it. I'm not going to put a whole lot in. The good thing about this spot is right over there is my sanctuary. It's about, I don't know, 10 acres probably. I don't go into it. It's super thick. It's almost impossible to hunt anyways. The deer love it in there. Every year people are doing their thing around here hunting. All the deer will jump up, go in there. So that's the good thing. And this is kind of a transition line that comes out. We got food off here to my left, and we got more food further back, almost straight behind me. So next year I'm going to put in, I want to do a nice little food plot right here. I hope I'm doing at least 2 food plots next year is the plan, between this property and another property. I want to get some food on here to hold deer more or less throughout the season a little bit. We're going to do a mock scrape right here. I'm going to show you guys kind of what I do. So for my mock scrape here, I'm going to use both buck and doe. This is kind of pretty central area, so I kind of want to use both. These are brand new bottles. I just picked these up the other day. Doe urine. One thing I want to mention to you guys is don't be afraid to put a good amount of this. You know, don't get the little bottles, or if you do, get a bunch of them. You know, deer don't just pee a couple dribbles. The lady that owns Wyoming County whitetails, I was talking to her. You know, she's got a deer that'll pee a quart at a time. So you really want to get some scent in there. I'm not going to put a whole lot on this one because I just want to have some scent here for the deer to smell and come to. Try to create a community scrape. So I'm just going to dabble enough, not too little amounts, but just kind of take it like this, and you want to create a good amount of scent in the area, but I'm not adding a whole lot, but I'm adding enough. Buck urine, I'm going to do the same thing. I'll kind of concentrate this more to the middle, and then there's doe urine all the way around it. Just something I do. I don't really know if it matters or not. You want to add a good amount to that. You don't want to add just a real little bit. You know, deer don't pee just a real little bit, they pee a lot. So when you add scent to a scrape to make it more realistic, you want to make sure you're adding enough. So now that that's taken care of, I'll grab a branch and I'll show you what I do to the licking branch. When you do the licking branch, just get yourself a stick, or even if you get gloves or whatever, not to leave human scent. Just break a few branches, you know, rough them up a little bit. You want to make it look like there was a buck in here and he was roughing up branches a little bit. You want to get it roughed up a little bit. Try to leave a few branches dangling down. The licking branch, in my eyes, is the most important part of a scrape, other than the actual scent that's in it, or, you know, what kind of scrape it is, whether it's just a territorial or aggression scrape, or versus a community scrape where all the bucks in the woods are using this one scrape concentrated area. If you can find a community scrape, that's a good place to start and should not be overlooked. There's a good chance there's going to be more bucks using that scrape than other bucks using just aggression scrapes that they might use once or twice throughout the season. So just a little tip. I only have a little while, so I'm finished with this one here. I'm going to go up towards my tree stand. Last year there was a community scrape there, so I'm gonna go reopen that and start that up again. And once I get these new cameras in here, I'm going to bring a new camera in. This is a great early season spot. I got tons and tons of daylight pictures here, so stay tuned, guys. Alright guys, so we got this next mock scrape made. You can see it right here over my shoulder. Got a licking branch right here, right there. And then if you stand here through the trees here, you can see there's my ladder stand. It's right there. We're looking at about 25 yards. I don't know if you guys can see this as well, but right through here there's a good deer trail that goes all the way back to my sanctuary. So regardless of these deer, if they come down through here or if they cut back towards that other camera, I have another camera down here that should catch some of the deer coming off of this trail, this upper trail. This trail hugs more the edge of the sanctuary that I'm talking about behind me, more or less where this trail down here goes down towards that Wheeler Trail and out towards agriculture fields. This one will go towards kind of like a little ravine or, you know, creek bottom, where this one goes toward the ag fields, like I said. So plan is here with this stand is I can get 2 to 3 trails, you know, even if they come out here straight behind me and come straight out across, whether they come out of the bigger bedding area or the even thicker stuff, I'm going to be right here hunting the outskirts of the sanctuary. That's something I'm going to press on a lot to you guys, is hunt the outsides of it. Have an area where these deer can feel safe. Don't ever go into it unless you absolutely have to. A lot of these guys will bomb up through the best area trying to jump a deer out of somewhere and then go sit in the woods and wonder why they don't see no deer. Well, you just pushed all your deer out of the woods. You know, have these areas that you don't go into. It happens a lot during gun season, especially around here. Get in these areas as less intrusive as you possibly can and leave the good stuff be. Don't touch it unless you absolutely have to. I get if you got to track a deer, or I got one spot on the other side of this sanctuary, on the outside of it, that, you know, I can see this huge goldenrod field. Well, it's nice with these big pair of binoculars, because if I see a buck out there through with the binoculars, I can make a stalk. I can get the wind in my favor. It's goldenrod field all the way around them. I get the wind in my favor through the woods. I could even do a spot and stalk if it's windy enough where I think I can get away with it. So, you know, have these areas that you stay out of and just hunt the outsides of them. And when you hunt the outsides of them, what I'm doing here is this is right off an edge. There's a transition line here. You guys can see it. More open here, and then it's, well, thicker than hell right there. Deer are going to come down this edge, right down this trail right here, along this edge, on this transition line coming out of the sanctuary or the bedding area, and they're going to use that to travel. Keep that in mind when you do your mock scrapes, because that's the best way to catch a buck, is coming right out of the bedding on the transition line, coming away from bedding to where he wants to go. If you're getting a buck coming out of like these bucks that I got here, I have a camera on the other side of that. I've never seen these bucks before. I've never seen them on the other side, and then we're only talking 400 or 500 yards. Maybe not even that. So that tells me that I haven't been getting very many, big bucks on camera over there. So that tells me, right now, early season, I'm wasting my time over there. I want to be over here, on this transition line coming out of the bedding, or the sanctuary. So keep that stuff in mind. Use that stuff to your advantage. It'll really help you out come this fall. Alright guys, I got that last camera set. I had it set across this little, I don't know if you guys can see the water down there, but it's a little creek bottom. I had this last camera set all the way across this on the other end on just an open hardwoods trail. That camera's been out there probably a month and a half. I haven't messed with it because usually it doesn't get, well, it usually gets decent pictures, but what I didn't realize in that month and a half, a big huge hickory tree come down, and it's actually like 3 trees grew off of one big trunk, and it's blocking that entire trail that goes to that camera. So I didn't get crap on that camera. It must have happened not too long after I set the camera. So if you look behind me, I got this big, huge, little open ridge. There's all these beech nuts up there. There's some oaks up there, and there's hickory nuts that are falling too. So there's food up there for the deer. Actually, when I come down here, there's 2 does up there feeding on acorns. There's only a few of them down. There's not too many acorns down yet, but the few acorns that were down, we had pretty good wind gusts here last week. The acorns that were down, there was 2 does up there feeding on them. And there's a little bedding area up there that follows the top of this ridge, and I got a stand that comes out at the intersection of 2 trails that come out of that next bedding area. That's the only thing I want to talk about is trail intersections. If you guys are going to do mock scrapes, trail intersections are huge. When I went up this little top to this ridge, when I went up this bank to get to the top, I found all kinds of sign, doe tracks, fawn tracks, buck tracks, all up there feeding just in the general area for nuts. Most of these deer tracks that are coming down through this creek, they're coming from that last sanctuary I just showed you guys. They're coming crossing this creek right here, and they're going up to this ridge top right where their stand is. And they're feeding on acorns and stuff like that. I found one little rub, looked like it had been hit this year. I found a little scrape. I'll show you guys that. And then just deer trails and how they work. And then there's a bedding area. You got the rub and then the scrape. And then there's a trail that goes down through about 20 yards from my stand, and it goes up to a bedding area. I'll show you guys all that. And then I'll show you guys some of this creek down here as well. Just the sheer amount of tracks that are crossing this creek going up to this ridge top. So when I find the intersection of trails up there, usually when a buck comes to an intersection of trails, or you have an intersection of trails, it's another great spot to be either looking for scrape, looking for sign, or to even make a mock scrape. So that's what I did up there. I ended up making a mock scrape up there about 25-30 yards behind my stand at the intersection of 2 trails that are coming out of the bedding area, but also coming down to this creek as a deer crossing through here. So keep that in mind, and we're going to be on to the next property. I got one more camera that, one of my cell cams, I got to adjust because it seems like every time it takes a picture, the deer that's coming off the field has got its head right behind a tree, and I can't quite see what the deer is. If it's, either a buck, it's far enough away where that tree could potentially hide a pretty decent set of antlers. So I'm gonna go adjust that camera, and then we're gonna go to the next property and do some mock scrapes there. So see you at the next property. Alright guys, I got you back on now. I really did a big loop back there and checked all my cameras. I didn't bring you guys with because I really needed to get them ones way back up in the woods checked pretty quick. I moved very fast. I did make a couple more mock scrapes. I got some of the big bucks I got on the last property here as well, so That's a good sign that they're traveling between the two properties. I highly doubt they're going any further to the south. I'm assuming that they're staying all this north. Usually wet bucks are north. There's a gas line down here. Wet bucks are north of that gas line usually stay north, and wet bucks are south. Typically end up staying to the south of that. There's a huge brush lot in there, and it kind of separates the two ends of these blocks. But what I want to go over here is, if you see that scrape right there, a couple weeks ago, I'll put in a clip now. I came back in here with a weed whacker, and I weed whacked one big long trail over by one of my other tree stands, so I can slip in back behind the stand, come into it from the cornfield, so the deer in this sanctuary right here don't ever see me coming. I can slip in by the guy's house, the landowner's house, come down the edge of the cornfield, slip right up in the tree stand, and these deer that are living in this sanctuary right here will have absolutely no idea that I'm even in the world. So I made that trail, and I also, right here, you guys will see in the video, I took this weed whacker and I weed whacked all this brush down, put a camera up right there, and then I weed whacked the ground out pretty good, and I just freshened it up now. That's why it looks freshened up. But I used the weed whacker to kind of make a spot. Right here's the licking branch right there, and I already had, it looks like a little young 8-pointer, might be a 9-pointer, kind of looks like he has a split on his right side, but he come in here and he already snapped. There's the scrape itself, there's the camera, and you guys can see right here he already snapped this branch off and worked this set over pretty good already. Nothing, you know, too aggressive or nothing, because we're not going to be working them that aggressive right now. But deer scrape year round. If you guys aren't running mock scrapes even all throughout the summer, usually I do. I just got too busy this summer to get out here and do it like I should have. But making these mock scrapes can help. The biggest part of the mock scrape is that licking branch right there. That, I found, it doesn't matter really where the scrape is, but there's always a solid licking branch. I made several more mock scrapes back through here. This one and all the ones that I put on this property, I did not put any deer urine in whatsoever. As October starts coming on and we get a little closer to rut, then I'll start using some scents. And like I said, the biggest thing with scent, guys, don't just put in a little bit. You know, put in a solid amount of whatever you're using. Put in a good amount. Deer don't just 2 or 3 drops into a scrape. You know, they urinate in it. When I talked to the lady from Susan at Wyoming County Whitetails, and she says she has a buck that pees almost a quart every time he goes. So don't be afraid to put a decent amount of scent into your mock scrapes. If you guys check out Wyoming County Whitetails, they have sizes all the way up. You can get a whole gallon. All the way, you can get little ounces that fit in your backpack if you want to freshen up a scrape. I think they're 4 or 5 ounce bottles that you can put right in your backpack, or you can go all the way up to a gallon. Get the gallon if you want to, or get their quarts or whatever, but make sure you're putting enough in there to make it realistic. Don't just do a little bit, and it's not what is natural. So a few little tips for you guys. We're sitting here right now on this big green field. I just filmed a doe over here in a corner. I'm sure I threw the clip in here somewhere. She's standing there eating. But I got one more camera to check. Getting pretty excited. We got some really nice bucks on camera. I'm pretty psyched about the season. The season is about 2.5 weeks away. We got one more weekend for goose hunting. So I assume we're going to hit that pretty hard this weekend. Sorry about the other goose hunts. I tried to film them, guys. The SD cards in my camera that have never given me an issue, for some reason, gave me an issue on them 2 hunts. I don't know. I tried my best. We did kill some geese. The hunts weren't quite as good as I was hoping they were going to be. One was kind of a surprise hunt. I didn't even know I was going on it till like 10 o'clock the night before. Sorry about that, camera slipped off. But pretty much going to be the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please give it a like. Got any questions, comments, whatever, drop them down. And if you guys would, please hit that subscribe button. Helps me out a bunch. I really want to build this channel into something pretty special. I want to give you guys as many tips, tricks, how to, whatever I can do for you guys, or even learn from you guys as well. So, because I don't know everything, I just know what works for me and how I've done things throughout the years. So, please subscribe, and if you want, follow me on Instagram at engraved_outdoors. And we'll see you in the next one. If you're already hunting, good luck. Hope you have a great season.